How often do you think about your heart health? Are you aware of the risks of cardiovascular disease? Well, let's dive into the heart of the matter. Cardiovascular diseases, encompassing coronary heart disease and stroke, claim the top spot as the leading cause of death in the United States. Particularly at risk are Blacks and Hispanics in underserved communities. It's a sobering reality, isn't it? But there's good news. Cardiovascular disease is largely preventable. Stay tuned to learn how you can keep your heart beating strong. Heart Smarts, a health program, is here to empower you to live a heart-healthy lifestyle. This program is not just about information, but about transformation. It offers a comprehensive approach to help you understand and achieve heart health. Heart Smarts is committed to reducing the incidence of cardiovascular disease, the leading cause of death in the United States. The program focuses on underserved communities where the risk of heart disease and stroke is greatest. Through education and empowerment, Heart Smarts aims to turn the tide on these statistics. It's a call to action, a call to change, a call to live healthier, longer lives. Heart Smarts is about arming you with the knowledge and tools you need to make heart-smart choices every day. It's about the power of prevention and the promise of a healthier future. Remember, Heart Smarts is not just a program, it's a life-changing journey. It's about taking control of your health, one heartbeat at a time. But don't just take our word for it. Listen to these stories from people who have benefited from Heart Smarts. Imagine being told you're at risk for heart disease, a leading cause of death in the United States. Now picture having the knowledge and tools to combat that risk head-on. For people like Maria, a single mother from an underserved community, Heart Smarts was a beacon of hope. The program informed decisions about her heart health, ultimately reducing her risk of cardiovascular diseases. And then there's John, a middle-aged man who was once a prisoner of his poor lifestyle choices. For him, Heart Smarts was not just a program, but a lifesaver. It opened his eyes to the risks he was taking and gave him the push he needed to commit to a healthier lifestyle. These are not just testimonials, they are life-changing stories. Stories of empowerment, resilience, and triumph over heart disease. These are real stories from real people who have seen the impact of Heart Smarts in their lives. Are you ready to be the next success story? Your heart health is in your hands, and with Heart Smarts, you have the power to make a difference. It's time to take that first step towards a healthier lifestyle, a step that could redefine your future. Heart Smarts is not just an ally, it's a beacon, guiding you to make informed decisions for your heart health. So why wait? The path to a healthier heart is just a click away. You'll find the link to Heart Smarts right down in the description below. Start your journey towards a healthier heart today with Heart Smarts.
Ever wonder how much money you could save if you didn't buy that extra pair of shoes you hardly wear? Or that fancy gadget collecting dust on your shelf? It's an intriguing thought, isn't it? We're often caught up in a cycle of excessive spending, a whirlwind of buy, use, and forget. And as our material possessions accumulate, they not only take up physical space, but also weigh heavy on our wallets. Consider this. Each item we buy, whether we end up using it or not, is an investment. And when these investments sit idle, they become financial burdens, silently eating away at our savings. Clutter, then, is not just a physical obstacle clogging up our living spaces. It's a financial blockade, hindering our path to economic freedom. It's time to break free from this cycle, to reassess our spending habits, and to redefine our relationship with material possessions. Imagine having more money in your pocket and less clutter in your home. Sounds like a win-win, doesn't it? But what exactly is minimalism? Is it about living with the bare minimum, or is there more to it? Well, to put it simply, minimalism is a lifestyle choice that involves making conscious decisions about what we bring into our lives and what we choose to let go. It's not about deprivation or living with the bare minimum, but rather about living with intention. It's about acknowledging that our belongings are not just things, but extensions of ourselves, and that each item we own should have a purpose and a place in our lives. Minimalism is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It looks different for everyone because it's rooted in personal values and individual needs. For some, it could mean living with fewer than 100 items. For others, it could mean decluttering their digital space or simplifying their commitments. The key is to find what works for you and aligns with your lifestyle and values. The heart of minimalism lies in the principle of quality over quantity. Instead of owning a lot of things, minimalists prefer to own fewer but higher quality items that last longer and serve their purpose well. This also means being mindful about our purchases, asking ourselves if we really need something before we buy it. It's about resisting the urge to buy impulsively or to keep up with the latest trends, and instead, making thoughtful purchases that add value to our lives. This intentional living extends to our finances as well. Minimalism encourages us to spend our money on experiences rather than material possessions. It's about investing in our future, our health, and our happiness, rather than accumulating stuff. So you see, minimalism is not about living with less for the sake of less. It's about making room for more. More time, more peace, more experiences, and yes, more financial freedom. It's about getting rid of the unnecessary so that the necessary may speak. Minimalism, then, is a tool that can assist you in finding freedom, including financial freedom. So how do we start decluttering and adopt this minimalist lifestyle? Well, the first step is to identify which items are essential and which are not. This may seem like a daunting task, but it can be simplified by asking yourself a few questions. Does this item bring value to my life? Does it serve a specific purpose? Do I use it regularly? If the answer to these questions is no, then it's probably not essential. Now, once you've identified the non-essential items, it's time to start decluttering. But don't worry, you don't have to do it all at once. In fact, it's more effective to start small. Choose a single drawer or a corner of a room to begin with. Once you've decluttered this small area, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment, which will motivate you to keep going. As you continue decluttering, you'll likely find items that you haven't used in months or even years. These are perfect candidates for removal. Remember, the goal is not to live with the bare minimum, but to only keep items that add value to your life. It's also important to be mindful of sentimental items. We often hold on to things because they have sentimental value or because we think we might need them someday. But if these items are just collecting dust, they're not serving you. Consider whether the emotional attachment you have to these items is worth the physical space they take up. As you declutter, you might feel a sense of resistance. It's natural to feel attached to our possessions, but remember, things are just things. They don't define us. The memories and experiences we associate with them do. So don't be afraid to let go. When you've decluttered one area, move on to the next. This process is gradual. It's not about perfection, but progress. And remember, decluttering is not just about freeing up physical space, but also about freeing up mental space. By removing the unnecessary, you'll have more room for what truly matters. Remember, decluttering isn't a race. It's a journey to a more mindful and financially freeing lifestyle. Now that we've decluttered, what do we do with all these unused items? Well, one man's trash is another man's treasure. This old saying holds more truth than you might think. You see, those unused items, the ones that were just gathering dust in your closet, they have value. And it's not just sentimental value, but real, tangible monetary value. Imagine this, a virtual yard sale, right at your fingertips. In the era of the internet, selling your unused items has never been easier. Online platforms like eBay, Craigslist, or even Facebook Marketplace offer a convenient, hassle-free way to turn your clutter into cash. You can list your items, set your prices, and wait for interested buyers. It's as simple as that. But what if you're a bit old-fashioned and you prefer the charm of a traditional yard sale? Well, that works too. A yard sale not only allows you to sell your unused items, but it also provides a great opportunity to interact with your neighbors and community. Plus, there's something undeniably satisfying about seeing your items find a new home. Now, let's talk about the cherry on top of this decluttering Sunday: saving. The money you earn from selling your unused items can significantly boost your savings. It's like finding money you didn't know you had. This additional income could be used to pay off debts, contribute to your retirement fund, or even fund a dream vacation. The possibilities are endless. So let's recap. You've decluttered your space, freeing yourself from the burden of unnecessary possessions. You've sold your unused items, turning your clutter into cash. And finally, you've added to your savings, boosting your financial health. Not only have you cleared your space, but you've also added to your savings. Talk about a productive day. But decluttering is just the first step. How do we resist the urge to buy more? Well, it's all about cultivating a sense of mindful resistance. One of the best ways to resist the pull of unnecessary purchases is the pause and ponder approach. When you see something you feel compelled to buy, don't rush into it. Instead, give yourself a cooling off period. Wait a few days. This delay allows you to evaluate whether you truly need the item or if it's just an impulse purchase. More often than not, you'll find that the allure of the item decreases over time, and you might even forget about it completely. Next, consider the utility of the item. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Will it add value to my life or just take up space? If the answer is the latter, then it's probably not a necessary purchase. Remember, every item you bring into your home should serve a purpose or bring you joy. Anything else is just clutter in disguise. Finally, let's talk about the one in, one out rule. This is a simple but powerful principle. For every new item you bring into your home, one item has to leave. This not only helps to maintain a minimalist environment, but also makes you think twice before buying. After all, if you have to part with something every time you buy, you'll likely be more discerning about your purchases. It's also worth mentioning that resistance can be made easier by setting up a budget and sticking to it. Knowing your financial limits can be a strong deterrent against unnecessary spending. Resisting might be tough at first, but it's a surefire way to keep your space clutter-free and your wallet full. Remember, minimalism isn't about deprivation. It's about making conscious choices and living with less so you can enjoy more of what truly matters. So, the next time you feel the pull of a purchase, pause, ponder, and resist. It's a small act of resistance with a big payoff. So now that we've decluttered, sold off unused items, and learned to resist unnecessary purchases, what's the financial payoff? The answer, quite simply, is freedom. Let's take a moment to reflect. With the money saved from avoiding frivolous purchases, you've created a safety net. This financial buffer can give you the peace of mind you need to live a life less burdened by financial stress. And what about those debts that once seemed insurmountable? With the extra cash from selling unused items, you've made a significant dent in them, or perhaps even paid them off entirely. The chains of debt that once held you captive are now weakened or gone. Moreover, by embracing minimalism, you've cultivated a mindset that values experiences over material possessions. This shift in perspective often leads to greater financial security in the long run. Minimalism, then, isn't just about decluttering. It's about reclaiming your financial